What if I told you there's an entire animation industry, not run by studios, but by solo creators who produce adaptations of novels in just 2 days per episode on average? Shadao Donghua, translated as silly animation, is a popular form of online animation in China characterized by its humorous, absurd, and often nonsensical content. Those animations from this type are intentionally silly and comedic. Thus, the production speed is insanely fast because they don't need to care about quality. Why? Because it's meant to be silly. I can't access the core of it or communicate with them because of the language barrier and the localization of those platforms. Yet I still can define this industry into 3 major generations. Let's start with Gen 1 first. Inspired by those silly things behind me, they started to create joints with Panda, and boom, a movable silly character was born. In the beginning, this was an industry. It was raw passion. Small creators across platforms started animating storylines from online novels or real-life scenarios. Their work was rough, mostly unpolished, but it lit the fire for the descendants. Then something shifted. Audiences grew. Creators learned what worked. This gen defined the audience. Mostly national, mostly teenagers, and hungry for drama that moved fast. So they must change. They must humanize the characters. The character turned from this into this. Let me show you one example. Hold on. So, the character matured literally, and they isolated themselves from Gen 1, turning from pandas to humans. They also use text-to-speech voice for characters. That's why there's a subtitle at the bottom. I forgot to mention that this is not only a single one. There are a lot of forms of character out there, yet they share the same commonality of being humanized. All of this is wrapped in Gen 2. Also, an individual will be listed as Gen 2 if their resources, although being high quality, didn't have enough influence to evolve. Last one being Gen 3. Unlike Gen 2, it rooted directly from Gen 1. This is the period that I started doing deep research on this industry. So don't judge my favorism. Let me find an example of it. Who's there? As expected.
先生，您在这片永恒的黑暗深渊中做什么？
小玉，你为什么一直跟着我？我又没有电磁场。
哼，您干嘛这么凶啊？啊，我记得你在做一些和文化相关的事，这就是你待在这里的原因吗？你需要帮忙吗？
来得正好，但先放开我。
哎呀！
是我不好，对不起。总之，小玉，你能站起来吗？
哎。
How? So, I don't really need to find an example from platform. This is an example of what a Gen 3 character looks like.
Hold on. Is this the thing that you told me before? Something about some kind of generation system.
You're right. Xiaoyu, we're being recorded. Every movement of yours will be judged. Is everything okay?
Nothing. It's all right. It's just that, why are you still clinging to it?
What do I expect from this fast-paced industry? An industry made for self-satisfaction. An industry built for escapism. An industry that hides behind the word silly. An excuse to churn out content at hypersonic speed. I'm basically asking a generation who's already skeptical of a gen's advancement is divided into 3 types, plus represents the noticeable advancement of a whole gen over time. Enhanced, on the other hand, only represents an individual in the gen who achieved a certain level of personalization. Pioneers are individuals that bring fresh and bold concepts to the test. They likely won't have a descendant due to their inconsistency. Why? Look at the graph. Plus creators maintain a near mechanical rhythm. One video every 2 days. Enhanced creators falter occasionally, stretching 5 or even 7 days. Pioneer creators, however, walk a visionary path that inherently trades speed for depth, making them far less consistent than either group. From here, it's clear that Enhanced holds the strongest potential to become the flagship of a new gen. But in this industry, potential alone isn't enough. Survival demands a resilient mind and a solid network of collaborators to drive progression. And as their influence grows, a flagship's resources eventually reach a point where they can't control its flow alone, a moment I call the birth of a gen. And how do I identify it? Simple. Even when the flagship of that gen has retreated from the industry, their influence will still stay, hanging around inside most of the other works then on. For instance, while the TMF Foundation date is February 18th, 2024, the Gen 3 official advancement date is a week earlier, February 10th, 2024, and the foundation date of Gen 3 is July 27th, 2023. Between that date and the foundation of Gen 3 lies a 7-month void. Now you may ask, why am I so sure about my research when I only began my analysis a week after its advancement, not at the very start of 7 months ago? Am I a latecomer? Not exactly. I've been around the industry long, before Gen 3 was even a name. That's why it didn't take me too much time to recognize that something wasn't right about what I was watching. Watermark? Gone, leaving only a blurred spot. Original subtitle? Buried under their AI process replacement. At first, I didn't pay much attention to what my intuition was whispering until I casually started answering its questions. And without any prior intel on Chinese platforms or even the industry's name, I used Google Advanced Search, a tool that can search the entire Google via keywords, domain name, and regions to trace down the origin. And within 1 day, I had found the origin. Here's the proof process. Just a day before my project's founding date, I searched for flaws in their operation and captured a screenshot of an unprocessed video, one that slipped out before they rushed to private it. The hidden watermark in the top right corner gave them away. This is the screenshot that I had taken. By then, I had also stumbled upon Douyin, but since it was already 4 a.m, I couldn't dive deeper or confirm my discovery with proper insights. I left aside, slept, and picked it back up at 10. As soon as I woke up, I jumped straight back onto TikTok, determined to find any traceable terms. Using the name I had screenshotted earlier, I entered it into the advanced search as my starting point. Here's exactly what I searched on TikTok. The investigation paid off, and I had uncovered the industry's name. After a long break, I resumed my investigation. This time, Douyin guided me directly to the original creators, yet my slow internet kept me from reaching the top priority, the flagship of Gen 3, the very reason I began this origin tracing duty. It was National Bilibili that gave me the deepest sense of hopelessness. Why? Because it had been on my skip platforms list, and I never expected its national version to mirror YouTube so completely. To be honest, I had no ideas what to do next. All I could do was paste the flagship's name that I found from the flaws and hope that there's things I was looking for. Luckily, the flagship of Gen 3, or Fantasia, appeared just as I was desperately scrolling through Google's pages. If you're wondering how I discovered Fantasia's name, I extracted it by running OCR on the dynamic watermark in their early videos uploaded by unethical individuals. I wouldn't mind sharing with you what I had written at that time. I had wanted to search for Fantasia ever since the thieves began reposting their content, which is why finding them at that moment meant so much to me. Anyways, after TMS Foundation, I identified 2 distinct traits these unethical individuals possessed. 1, they clung to the original creator like parasites, using AI to repost videos at an insane speed, often within just 4 to 5 minutes of the original upload. Two, they operated beyond the original creator's awareness, exploiting cross-platform challenges and national barriers to evade Chinese digital law enforcement. And let's be clear, calling it fair use is legally meaningless. Covering or removing a watermark is already a glaring red flag, not only shady but potentially illegal. What they are doing amounts to nothing less than license laundering. Yet, when you strip away the noise of those people, this industry is nothing less than an arena. Every creator is like a contender, fighting for recognition, for presence, for survival. New generations enter the ring. Audiences judge from the stands, and only the ones who endure make it to the next round. That is a reality I've been watching all this time, and that is why this matters. More than a year has passed since then. Things have shifted. Fantasia has retired. The thieves are still out there, maybe even thriving, but I've grown past the frustration. What matters is I know the truth, and I know how much work the real creators put in.
Whoa, I didn't expect you to be impacted this much by me.
Don't blame yourself, Xiaoye. I've always lived in balance. Not too early to chase trends, yet never too late to fall behind. In hindsight, witnessing injustice encouraged me to embrace realism and better understand my inner world. So, in the end, I still gained some valuable things for myself, including you.
Ah, what do you mean by including me?
What I mean is that you're the symbol of Fantasia, my version of Fantasia, and I made you to archive Gen 3. It took a while, though. 3,700 vector shapes are tough to extract from raster images of you. But because of that, you're not only an archive, you're proof of how much I cared. And as for the viewers, I'll keep her as my close assistant, both for my presence in this industry and for how much I still care about it.